want to talk about here the defense that Calvin has when looking back to church fathers, because he recognizes their authority. He recognizes the authority of the church fathers. You know, Sadoleto, and if you venture to deny, I will make it palpable to all that you knew, yet cunningly and craftily disguise the fact. Not only that our agreement with antiquity is far closer than yours, but that all we have attempted has been to renew that ancient form of the church, which, at first sullied and distorted by illiterate men of indifferent character, was afterward, here's a big word, flagitiously mangled and almost destroyed by the Roman pontiff and his faction. Think about what he's arguing here. Calvin says that not only that our agreement with antiquity is far closer than that of yours, but that all we have attempted has been to renew that ancient form of the church. Why is this important? When Roman Catholic apologists accuse Protestants of rejecting church authority, rejecting church tradition, they're inaccurate. They're attacking a straw man. Calvin is saying that the Reformation is the recovery, the renewing of church tradition. When Roman Catholic apologists say that Protestants believe Scripture is the only source of teaching on belief and practice, when it's the only source, that's also wrong. That's not what Protestants believe. And John Calvin himself, as one of the most well-known reformers, certainly in like a top 5 list, argues right here it's the recovery of the church fathers. It's the recovery, it's the renewal. They are, Calvin argues, closer to antiquity. Now, if you're a Roman Catholic and you're going to disagree, you don't think that's the case, you are free to believe that. You are welcome to disagree with Calvin. You can do that. I'm not saying you have to agree with Calvin. I think Calvin's right. I agree with Calvin. I think you should agree with Calvin here. But at the least, let's recognize the argument Calvin is making. Do not create straw men and attack those straw men. Excuse me. All right. Let's continue reading on. I will not press you so closely as to call you back to that form which the apostles instituted, though in it we have the only model of a true church, and whosoever deviates from it in the smallest degree is in error. But to indulge you so far, place, I pray, before your eyes, that ancient form of the church, such as their writings prove it to have been in the age of Chrysostom and Basil among the Greeks, and of Cyprian, Ambrose, and Augustine among the Latins. After so doing, contemplate the ruins of that church as now surviving among yourselves. Assuredly, the difference will appear as great as that which the prophets describe between the famous church which flourished under David and Solomon, and that which under Zedekiah and Jehoiakim had lapsed into every kind of superstition and utterly vitiated the purity of divine worship. The analogy here that he's given is that the church fathers are like the United Kingdom of Israel, and the medieval era Roman Catholic Church is like that of the destroyed kingdom of Israel. That's the analogy Calvin is giving here. He's not saying we need to get back to the first century. He's not saying we need to go back to the era of the judges or whatever. He's saying this is, the church fathers was like the high time of the church, and we need to get back to that. That's what Calvin's arguing. Now, if you're a Roman Catholic, let me ask you, have you ever come across this work of Calvin? Have you ever read this defense of the Reformation? I'm curious to know if Roman Catholic apologists have recommended this as a source for understanding the other side, even. Have you been aware of this? Let me know in the comments. Okay, let's pick up here. Since there are three things on which the safety of the church is founded, vis-a-vis doctrine, discipline, and the sacraments. Boy, look at this. Calvin's already arguing for the authority of these things within the church: doctrine, discipline, and the sacraments. And these, a fourth is added, vis-a-vis ceremonies, by which to exercise the people in offices of piety, in order that we may be most sparing of the honor of your church. By which of these things would you have us to judge her? The truth of prophetical and evangelical doctrine, on which the church ought to be founded, has not only in a great measure perished in your church, but is violently driven away by fire and sword. Will you obtrude upon me? So notice here, he hasn't rejected these four things that are founded, but he's saying that the Roman Catholic Church has forgotten what they're grounded on.